Today we're going to be talking about the first part of section 2-4, which is on page 75 in your books, entitled Writing Linear Equations. So today we're going to talk about point-slope formula and the slope that goes with it. Don't forget to take notes as you go and take the survey at the end. So we first have to talk about two important formulas. The slope formula, which as you may remember from Algebra 1, looks like this. M is always represented by M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now it's important to remember that it does not matter which number we choose for y2 and y1 as long as y2 is paired up in the ordered pair with x2 and y1 is with x1. And be careful to watch your negatives as you use the minus sign. And then we have point slope formula. That is the easiest way to write any equation of a line. Point slope formula looks like this. We get the quantity of y minus y1 equals m, that's our slope again, times x minus x1. And again, it does not matter which of the 2 points that you use for y1 and x1 as long as they're the 2 points that go together. So let's look at this first example. Find the slope between the 2 points. So we're going to use that first formula that we had, which looked like this. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now to me, I think the best method to begin to do this process is to mark which numbers we want to use for which coordinate x2, x1, or x2 and x1, and then y2 and y1. So let's go through and mark which numbers we want to use for each. So let's just start with this first one. Let's name this x2 and y2. So remember, x comes first, so x2 and y2. And then, so I'll make the other one x1 and y1. Okay, so now we just need to simply plug these points into our formula. Now be careful and watch your negatives. I'm going to use some parentheses to make sure that we do not mess anything up. So y2 minus y1 is first. Y is always on top, so we get 6 minus, notice y1 is negative 1, so we'll put negative 1 inside parentheses. And then over top, and then below that, x is always on the bottom. Rise over run, so rise is our y, x is our run, so we get negative 3 minus 4. Now since 4 is positive for x1, I did not put any parentheses around it, so it works just fine. So let's start with the top, 6 minus negative 1. Now remember, when we subtract a negative, it's the same as adding. So I'm going to just quickly change this to 6 plus 1, so we're going to get ourselves confused. And then rewrite the bottom. From there, I'm simply going to just do what the operations say. So 6 plus 1 is 7 over negative 3 minus 4, which is negative 7. Now, think about this for a second. We want to reduce any fraction that we get as a slope. So we need to look at 7 divided by negative 7, or 7 over negative 7, and reduce that fraction. So they both have 7 in common, as you can well see. So 7 divided by negative 7 is simply negative 1. And that's our slope. Take a second to copy down this example. Okay, example number 2. Write the point-slope form of the line between the points 2, 5, and negative 1, 8. So now we're going to be using two formulas for this. The slope formula, which was m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And the point slope formula, which is the important part right here. I'll go ahead and write this down below. So we get y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find my slope. So I'm going to take my slope formula here and say, okay, I'm going to name x2 and y2, x1 and y1. I'm going to plug those into my formula. Y over x, so 5 minus 8 over 2 and negative 1 for my x's, so x2 minus x1. Notice my x1 is negative, so I put parentheses. So 5 minus 8 is negative 3. And then 2 minus negative 1, remember, When we subtract a negative, it becomes positive. So we get 2 plus 1, which is also 3. So my slope is negative 3 over 3. We'll reduce that to negative 1. So now I have my slope. So now I'm simply going to pick one of my points and plug it into my formula with my new slope here. So I'm going to take my formula. I'm going to choose that first point. It does not really matter which one you choose, because regardless of which one you choose, it's still going to be the same. So we're going to use the first one, 2, 5. So we're going to put in for y1 and x1, I'm going to put 2 and 5. So we get y minus 5, because that's our y, equals m, which is negative 1, times x minus 2. Okay. Take a second to copy down this example. Next part, I'm just going to simplify what I had. Okay, because a lot of times we want it to look like y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. So let's simplify. So if I just want to get y by itself, think about what the first thing I'm going to do is. I'm going to do y minus 5 equals, I'm going to distribute this negative 1. So I get negative x, negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. My last step, I'm just going to add 5. So we get y equals negative x plus 7. That's my final equation. If you have any questions, please bring them into class tomorrow, and make sure you complete the survey at the end.